Hello everyone, it's JJ James, and today I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process on everything you need to understand about digital marketing. If you've ever wondered how to begin your digital marketing journey from beginner to professional level, then this is the right tutorial for you. Stay right on this video, I'll be right back. Thank you for staying on the video. This is what your course outline will look like. In this course tutorial, I'm going to be showing you the introduction to digital marketing. We'll touch a little about the internet. We'll see website development with WordPress, SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization, Google AdWords, SMM, which is social media marketing, affiliate marketing, email marketing, YouTubing, and then Google Analytics. Are you ready? Let's get going. What is digital marketing? If you want to understand what digital marketing is, you may need to understand what the opposite is, which is analog marketing. Now, analog marketing is the physical way of advertising your product to people. So if you've ever walked up to someone and tried to talk them into buying what you're selling, then that is analog marketing. Digital marketing really talks about meeting people virtually using the electronic means of advertising. So if I have to sit down here and talk to people online, share whatever post I have with them and then run some advertisement online, and it gets delivered to them on their electronic device, be it their smartphones, their tablets, or their laptops. That's actually digital marketing. For digital marketing to be very effective, then that is where the internet comes in. Now, what is the internet? Your mind may be telling you the internet is some cloud or some sky or some space. No, the internet is actually multiple computers connected together and then it's put up on a web server so that the entire universe can access it. Now, the internet is not entirely invisible. There are certain things and tools being brought together to make it work. The internet doesn't just operate on its own. They are pillars to what makes the internet work, like fiber optics cable, like copper wires or the satellite rays. All of those are part of the things that makes the internet work. You cannot physically interact on the internet without having a platform to do so. That is where the ISP come in. What is ISP? Internet Service Provider. The internet on its own will require some form of platform and some tools to make you access it. So you cannot actually as an individual access the internet except you pass through an ISP. The internet you're seeing is actually virtual, but there are physical gadgets on ground to power it and make it work. I will explain just further. Now, the information you see on the internet may be virtual, but there is a physical site where servers and hardwares are found that if anything happens to them, it affects the entire virtual system that you access using your smart devices. I'm going to give you an example. Look at Google server room. If anything happens to Google server room, if you look at that room, it's filled with hardware, storage devices in terabyte and nanobyte. If anything happens to that server room, then the entire Google services online will be affected, because the internet on its own is just like a projector, projecting what we have offline online. If you want to understand more about the computer server and how networking works, then you may need to pick up a course on computer networking. Going back to the internet, the internet service provider, which is your ISP, actually grants you a platform to access the internet, and you pay them by way of buying bandwidth. What is bandwidth? Bandwidth is just like your electricity tariff. When you pay for electricity offline for you to get electricity, then the same way you buy bandwidth to access the internet. So the unit of measurement for billing you on the internet is called bandwidth. Alright, leaving there now, for you to access the internet, the ISP stands as the platform that grants you the access, the bridge that grants you access to the internet. And for the internet to be accessed, there must be information being put out there. So what information do you want to market digitally? You may want to know that for you to market anything, you need an internet profile, or in this case, a web page. Think about your business offline. You have a profile, you have a magazine, you have a catalog, you have a business card, you have flyers, and what have you. All of those are your marketing tools that exposes your business to the public. So if you want to also expose your business virtually or digitally, you may need to have what we call a web page. For you to have a web page, there ought to be some form of web address. Think about the internet without addresses. You're looking for Facebook, you just go on facebook.com and it takes you to Facebook. Now that unique ID is just assigned to Facebook alone. No other website around the world can take that ID. So the same thing happens to our physical addresses. For you to have a web page, you need to buy a domain first. Your domain name is your unique identity on the internet. A domain name is likened to your physical house address. Let's put it this way. If you want to direct someone to your place, you need to give the person a specific detail of your house address. For instance, meet me at number 22 Birmingham Highway, and then meet me at let's say flat 3 room 4, all those specific addresses. The same thing happens on the internet. Without addresses, there will be chaos. For you to have an internet address, there is what we call the internet protocol, which is the actual way that governs communication on the internet. But we won't go into internet protocol now, but just know that for you to have a website, you need to have what we call a domain name, a unique name. This name is not given by country, it is globally standardized. If, for instance, I am in my country, Nigeria, and I want to pick up Facebook as a domain name, it can't work because someone somewhere in the USA have already taken facebook.com. So it's not country limited, it is globally. A domain name actually can be purchased by just buying it from one online, and you can check. One of my favorite is actually Whogohost. You can go to Whogohost and check it out, or whois.com, and then check out different domain names and check a domain that suits your business, that has not been taken by someone else. So the same way we have a physical address, that's the same way we have a digital address. For you to own a website, you need to think about having an address for that website. Without you having a web page, it will be difficult to market or announce your business digitally. And to own a web page, you need to actually possess some, website designing skills, which may take a whole lot of time to learn. But that's not where I am going to. Do you know you can also own a website without necessarily having the skills of a web developer? Oh, you may want to ask, what's the difference between a website designer and a web developer? It's very simple. A web designer is actually someone who tweaks and plays around with the front end graphical environment of the website. A web designer is very familiar with that environment, using the mouse to put things in order, while a web developer is actually one who works from the back end, because the internet you see or the website you see has two interfaces: graphical interface and the coded interface, which is just some list of codes. A person who is a web developer actually possesses some skills on HTML, CSS, Python, and other programming languages. Now, it is not a must that you learn the codes, but it is necessary and highly recommended. Why? Because there are challenges you will face on the front end that only the codings on the back end will bail you out. But that's not even the point. That is why we have WordPress. If you do not want to learn web design or development, then go over to WordPress.com. They will give you an already made website. All you need to do is to pick up any template of your choice, edit the content to what suits your business. It's as easy as that. Going back to the internet, if you want to have access to all the websites that you log in the specific domain name or the URL. Okay, when you log in the name, it takes you to the website because that particular name is linked to that particular website. So no other person can take that name. But yet, there is something you need to understand. If the government, for instance, wants to stop you from having access to a particular website, they will not uninstall their application from your phone. Look at Nigeria, for example. The recent ban on Twitter. Actually, the government did not come to enforce it by uninstalling Twitter from your phone. They only instructed the ISP, which is your internet service provider, to stop everyone on that network from having access to that particular domain, because that domain, twitter.com, belongs to just one company. Think of it like this way. Your internet service provider is like the bridge that takes you to the internet. So if I am in point A and I want to access point B and there is a bridge in between, the internet service provider is the one to lead me through that walk. So if the government instructs the ISP to stop people from getting to point B, all they need to do is to blacklist the domain name, that unique domain that is being linked to that particular company. That way, people won't be able to cross over to the other side, which is point B. But don't also forget that people have also found a way to get around it. It doesn't mean that you have to necessarily pass through. There are ways you can pass around it. And that is where VPN comes in, which stands for Virtual Private Network. The VPN is actually a very different course on its own, but I'll try to just give you an overview of what it is. For you to connect to all the websites you are familiar with, you need to pass through your internet service provider. They need to approve of the website. Now, when you decide to use VPN, what it does is it bypasses that protocol of passing through your ISP recommended route to the internet. Everyone connected to the internet, your address, your IP address will reveal your location, your country's location. So the VPN that you plug to will change your country's location, and then you'll be able to pass through the back to access whatever site that was blocked by the government or by your ISP. But you should know that it is actually very dangerous to use VPN. Why? Because when you use VPN, you are very vulnerable to attacks. You open up your system because you don't know what you're connected to, what is passing through and from your device. You need to be very careful when you're thinking about using VPN because it is actually very dangerous for you that doesn't know how to really use it. That is why a lot of internet fraudulent activities is being committed using VPN, because they know that it's very difficult to track those using VPN. But because of the scope of this tutorial, I'm going to stick just at digital marketing. Please, if you want to learn more about VPN, we'll talk about it some other time. Alright, if you want to design a website and don't want to learn the skill of web designing, then head over to WordPress and you'll see wonderful, beautiful templates there to pick up and edit. You can pick up any template that suits your style and then edit the picture content, edit the text content, and use it to host. For you to design, make sure you have either a smartphone or a computer. But a computer is not very necessary when designing a website with WordPress. In the next video, we are going to be designing our website with WordPress. Ensure that you subscribe, like the video, then ring the notification bell so that you will get a notification when I drop the next video. Make sure you share this video with your friends. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.